Welcome to the deep dive. This time you guys want to go deep on Microsoft. You sent us a ton of info, 10Ks, 10Qs, even internal stuff. You're looking for that clear picture of their business model, and, well, we're here to deliver.
That's right. We've gone through it all so you don't have to. We'll break down how they make money, what it costs them, and what they're offering to everyone, from everyday users to huge corporations.
Okay, let's jump in. One thing that really struck me was how Microsoft's putting AI into almost everything they do. It's not just talk. It seems like a real change.
Absolutely. Their AI-first strategy is really clear when you look at their revenue streams. Microsoft divides their business into three main segments: productivity and business processes, intelligent cloud, and more personal computing.
Let's take a closer look at those. Productivity and business processes sounds like the heart of any business. What does that mean for Microsoft?
That's where you find the tools that keep businesses running smoothly. Think Microsoft 365, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, all with AI through their Copilot feature. Then there's LinkedIn for professional networking, and Dynamics 365, which helps businesses manage customer relationships.
It's really interesting how Microsoft's moving away from those one-time software purchases to subscription-based models like Microsoft 365. That must have a big impact on their bottom line.
It definitely does. Recurring revenue from subscriptions creates a stable, predictable income, which is essential for long-term growth. Okay, let's switch gears to intelligent cloud. That's where Azure shines.
Azure seems to be everywhere these days. It feels like the foundation of so much that happens online.
You're right. Think of Azure as the underlying structure for a huge chunk of cloud computing. It offers everything from basic infrastructure to advanced AI and machine learning capabilities. Oh, and let's not forget their partnership with OpenAI, the brains behind ChatGPT and those other crazy AI models. Microsoft is the only cloud provider for OpenAI, so all those amazing applications are running on Azure.
Wow, they've basically placed themselves at the front of the AI revolution. All right, last but not least, more personal computing. This is where Microsoft connects with us regular users.
Exactly. This segment includes Windows, their gaming world, which now has Xbox, and, after that big acquisition last year, Activision Blizzard and Bing, which doesn't always get as much attention.
It's interesting how they're trying to revamp Bing in the Edge browser. They're using AI to make them more than just search tools. They want them to be platforms for finding information and even creating content.
It's a smart move as we rely more and more on AI. They're betting AI will change how we use information, and they want to be leading the way.
Okay, so we've seen where the money's coming from. But with so much happening, they must have huge expenses. These documents show a pretty complex cost structure.
Let's break it down. Research and development is a big one, especially for things like cloud engineering, which makes sense with Azure growing like crazy. And not surprisingly, in gaming, after they brought in Activision Blizzard.
Makes sense. They're always innovating, making new things, competing for talent in a tough industry. That all adds up.
They also spend a lot on sales and marketing. Think about all those ads, events, partnerships, and those Microsoft Experience Centers in big cities.
It's a good reminder that even with great products, you still have to get people to use them. And we can't forget about the infrastructure for Azure. Those giant data centers use a ton of energy and need constant maintenance. The costs must be crazy high.
Absolutely. Keeping those data centers running worldwide is a major investment, but it's crucial for providing reliable cloud services.
So we've covered revenue and costs. But what does it all mean for the average person or business using Microsoft? What's the core value they're offering?
Basically, Microsoft wants to be your one-stop shop for everything digital, powered by AI. Whether you're working together on a project, connecting with colleagues, managing data, gaming, or just searching online, they want to make your life easier and help you get more done.
And they're doing it in a way that works for everybody. Students, businesses, developers, gamers, everyone. It's pretty remarkable.
It is, and that brings us to how they stand out in a crowded tech world. It's not just Apple, Google, and Amazon they're competing with, but all those new startups popping up everywhere.
So how does Microsoft set itself apart? Their size is part of it, but there must be more.
The way they've built AI into their entire product line is a big difference. They're not just adding AI as an afterthought, they're rethinking how we use technology.
Another thing that sets them apart is their dedication to a multi-platform, multi-device world. They want their products to work, whether you're on a Windows PC, an iPhone, an Xbox, or even a competitor's cloud platform. They're meeting people where they are.
Exactly. And to make this all work, certain things are absolutely essential for Microsoft to do well.
Constant innovation has to be at the top of the list. The tech world moves so fast they can't afford to stand still.
Absolutely. They need strong research and development, quick product cycles, and a deep understanding of the market to stay ahead.
And they need to get those innovations into people's hands. So effective sales and marketing, smart partnerships, and a strong global network are vital.
Another critical piece is making sure their platforms are secure and reliable, especially with the focus on cloud computing and AI. Data breaches or outages could be disastrous.
Well, I think we've got a good picture of the main parts of Microsoft's business model. They've built an impressive foundation. But the tech world never stops changing. What challenges and risks are ahead? We'll dive into those in part 2 of our deep dive.
Welcome back to our deep dive on Microsoft. In part 1, we took a look at the impressive machine that is their business model. But even a giant like Microsoft has its weaknesses and things to watch out for. The tech world is constantly changing. No company is safe from being disrupted.
That's right, we talked about their strengths, but what are those potential pitfalls? What could really trip them up?
One of the biggest risks for any company dealing with sensitive data is security. Microsoft handles so much personal and business information, emails, documents, financial stuff, even healthcare records. Any breach or security slip-up could be a disaster for both the company and millions of users.
Absolutely. We've seen how much damage those big data breaches can do, even to the biggest companies. It makes people lose trust and can lead to lawsuits, fines, a real hit to their reputation.
And as Microsoft gets more into AI, the security risks get even bigger. AI systems can be vulnerable to attacks that exploit how complex they are, and the consequences of a successful attack could be huge. They need to be really careful about building in strong security from the very beginning.
It's like they're building a fortress around their data, but the attackers are always coming up with new ways to break in.
Exactly. And beyond security, there's the challenge of keeping up with how fast technology changes. What's cutting edge today could be old news tomorrow. Microsoft needs to keep evolving, always anticipating what's next, and staying ahead of the competition.
It's like running a marathon, where the finish line keeps moving farther away.
That's a great way to put it. They can't just sit back and relax. They need to invest a lot in research and development, create a culture where people are encouraged to innovate, and be willing to take some risks to try new things.
And we can't forget about the fierce competition they face. It's not just the other tech giants like Apple, Google, and Amazon, but also all those smaller, quicker startups that are focused on very specific areas.
That's true. They need to find that balance between using their size and resources while also staying flexible and responding to new challenges and opportunities.
It's like a huge ship trying to maneuver in a harbor full of speedboats. They have to be powerful, but also agile.
And then there's the whole regulatory landscape, which is always changing. Governments all over the world are looking more closely at the power of tech companies, especially when it comes to data privacy, antitrust issues, and the ethics of AI.
It feels like every week there's a new headline about some regulation targeting big tech. It's a really complicated situation that keeps changing.
Absolutely. Microsoft needs to be proactive, working with policymakers, showing they're committed to developing AI responsibly, dealing with privacy concerns directly, and making sure they're following the law.
And, of course, there's the unpredictable global economy. A recession or economic downturn in key markets could really hurt consumer spending and business investment. That would have a direct impact on Microsoft's bottom line.
That's true. No company is immune to those economic headwinds. They need to have backup plans, diversify their revenue streams, and adjust their strategies when necessary.
So it's all about being ready for the unexpected, having a plan B, and maybe even a plan C.
Exactly. And let's not forget about the potential risks that come with their aggressive acquisition strategy. We saw them make a big move with Activision Blizzard last year, but combining a large company like that with its own culture and way of doing things can be tough.
There's always that chance of culture clashes, redundancies, and problems trying to get product roadmaps to align. It takes careful planning and good execution to make those acquisitions work out the way you want them to.
And there's no guarantee that the acquisition will pay off the way they expect. Microsoft needs to be strategic and careful with their mergers and acquisitions, ensuring they fit with their long-term goals and add real value to the overall business.
It's like playing a high-stakes game of chess, where every move needs to be thought out carefully.
Now let's switch gears a bit and talk about something that's been getting a lot of attention lately: AI ethics. Microsoft has been pretty vocal about their commitment to responsible AI development, but there are real concerns about the potential downsides of this powerful technology.
Right, AI has the potential to change a lot of things for the better. But it also brings up important questions about bias in algorithms, job losses, and the possibility of it being misused.
It's a complex issue. Microsoft, along with the whole tech industry, needs to address these ethical challenges and find ways to reduce the potential risks while maximizing the benefits of AI.
It's like walking a tightrope. They need to harness the power of AI for good while avoiding the potential pitfalls.
Exactly. They need to prioritize transparency, accountability, and fairness in their AI systems. They need to build trust with users and show that AI is being developed and used in a way that benefits everyone.
It's a huge responsibility,
Right.
and the world is watching to see how they handle it.
Now, besides all these external challenges, Microsoft also has some internal hurdles that could hold them back.
Oh, interesting. What kind of internal factors are we talking about?
One big one is keeping their talented employees. Like we said before, the competition for top tech people is intense. Microsoft needs to create a work environment that attracts and keeps the best and brightest minds.
That means competitive salaries and benefits, for sure. But it also means creating a culture that encourages creativity, collaboration, and professional growth.
Exactly. They need to give their employees chances to learn, grow, and make a difference. They need to foster a sense of purpose and belonging.
And they need to be aware of what the workforce expects, especially as younger generations come into the tech world with different values and priorities.
Another possible internal challenge is bureaucracy. As companies get bigger, they can become more complicated and slower to react. Decision-making can bog down, and innovation can be stifled by layers of red tape.
It's like a giant machine that starts to rust and creak.
That's a good way to put it. They need to find ways to streamline things, give employees more power to make decisions, and avoid getting stuck in unnecessary processes.
So it's about keeping that entrepreneurial spirit alive, even as they become a massive corporation.
Exactly. They need to balance their need for structure and efficiency with the need to foster a culture of creativity and innovation.
It's a delicate balancing act, managing a company as big and complex as Microsoft.
Absolutely. They need to constantly look at their internal processes, find areas to improve, and make sure they're working as efficiently and effectively as possible.
Well, we've covered a lot, pointing out all those potential risks and challenges Microsoft faces.
We've looked at everything from cybersecurity threats and regulations to economic uncertainty, ethical issues, and internal organizational challenges.
But even with all those challenges, there are also huge opportunities for growth and innovation. In part 3 of our deep dive, we'll focus on the future, looking at the growth potential for Microsoft and the strategic moves they're making to stay successful in a rapidly evolving tech world. Welcome back to the deep dive. We've dug into Microsoft's business model, broken down their revenue and costs, and even uncovered some potential risks. But now, let's look ahead. What's next for Microsoft? What opportunities are they ready to grab?
The future of tech is always exciting, and Microsoft is in a great spot to ride the wave of some big trends. Like we talked about, cloud computing is huge and growing, and Azure is already a major player. But there's still so much potential in the cloud.
It seems like every company I talk to is either moving to the cloud or trying to figure out how to use it best. It's not just about storage anymore, it's about getting access to powerful tools and services that can change how businesses work.
Right. And Microsoft is smart about how they're investing to make Azure even better. They're adding new features all the time, improving security, and making it easier for developers to build and run applications on their platform. Plus, that partnership with OpenAI gives them a real advantage in the world of generative AI.
Generative AI is mind-blowing. The possibilities seem endless. Personalized education, healthcare, more efficient manufacturing, scientific breakthroughs. It feels like AI is the biggest opportunity out there, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. AI is going to change pretty much every industry you can think of. And Microsoft's all in. They're putting AI into things like Office and Bing, making new AI tools, and investing heavily in AI research.
They're definitely betting big on AI. But it's not just about the tech itself, it's about using AI to solve real problems and create value for their customers.
Exactly. It's not enough to just have cool AI features. You have to show how they're useful and make it easy for people to use them well.
So we've got cloud computing and AI as the main drivers. What other opportunities are you seeing?
Well, gaming is another area where Microsoft's got a lot going for it. Buying Activision Blizzard gave them a ton of popular games, and Xbox Game Pass, with its subscription model that gives you access to a huge library of games, has been a real game changer.
It's like the Netflix of gaming.
Yeah.
And it's clearly working. People love it. And it's bringing in that steady recurring revenue. It'll be interesting to see how they continue to change their gaming strategy and reach even more people.
They're also looking at new areas like the metaverse. It's still early days for this technology, but Microsoft's investing in those mixed reality headsets and platforms that could change how we work, play, and connect with each other.
It's a risky move.
Hmm.
But if the metaverse takes off, Microsoft could be right there leading the charge. So we've talked about the opportunities, but what about their strategy? What are they doing to actually make the most of these opportunities and turn them into results?
They're really committed to research and development. They're always up there with the top companies globally in terms of how much they spend on R&D. They're not afraid to experiment, take risks, and really push the limits of technology.
They're also making strategic acquisitions, like we saw with Activision Blizzard, and they're forming important partnerships, like the one with OpenAI. It seems like they understand the power of working together.
They're also investing in their employees, attracting talented people, giving them opportunities to develop their skills, and creating a culture that encourages innovation. They know their employees are their biggest strength.
And they're creating a global ecosystem of partners, developers, and customers. They're building platforms and tools that let others innovate and create their own solutions, which extends their reach and impact.
And they're focusing on sustainability, too. They've set big goals to reduce their carbon footprint, conserve water, and support biodiversity. They know sustainability is not just good for the planet, it's good for business.
It's clear that Microsoft is thinking ahead. They're not just going after quick profits. They're building a company that can be successful for years to come.
And they're staying true to their mission of giving everyone the power to achieve more. They're using tech to solve real problems and trying to make a positive impact on the world.
Well, that wraps up our deep dive into Microsoft, from their current business model to where they're headed in the future. It's been a fascinating journey.
Absolutely. We covered so much: their revenue, their costs, the obstacles they face, and all the amazing possibilities ahead. But here's something to think about. As AI gets even more powerful and part of our lives, how will Microsoft deal with the ethical and social implications? Will they use their position to shape the future of AI in a way that benefits humanity? It's a question worth considering as we enter a world that's more and more driven by AI.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Microsoft. We'll be back soon with another exciting exploration of the business world. Until then, keep learning, keep asking questions, and keep diving deep.